Starting your first build in Diablo 4 can be a little difficult, and oftentimes I think we just jump to a lot of the builds that we see online, either via YouTube or other websites. But in this video today, I want to go through how easy it really is to make your own build. And I'll start by showing off my Blood Necromancer build and how I'm really using this to have a lot of fun in the game. I think it's too often that we play ARPGs and jump too much into the meta of what is the absolute min-max best for our class. But in this video, I really want to show you that that's actually very easy to approach. And if this is the first time that you've seen any video on my channel, the way I like to approach things is by upfronting the information in the video. So basically what I'm going to tell you is, and if you've ever played ARPGs, this is a core principle and truth. What you're going to have here is a basic skill that is some sort of resource generation for you, unless you're a rogue. You're going to have some sort of primary attack skill. You're going to have an ultimate skill, a movement skill, which the Necromancer doesn't have any of, a defensive skill, and then usually some other sort of utilitarian, an additional damage skill, a summon spell, whatever it is. That's kind of the general format. And if you stick roughly to that rule, the set of rule of thumbs, you'll be just fine with any class in this game. So that's just the kind of the big takeaway I want you to have from this video, without even having to go forward. Any class you're playing, as long as you follow that rough blueprint and work towards the synergies that you're going to build within those, you're going to have just fine an experience. What I've really noticed with Diablo 4 is that it has a very good amount of build variety. And there's no real build unless you're just going with nothing but resource, all 5 or 6 basic attacks and maybe 1 core. Okay, yeah, that's going to be a terrible build. But as long as you follow the basic tenets of ARPG building, then you're going to be just fine with anything you want to play. So play the game how you want. You spent $70 for it, so you might as well get the most out of it in the way that you want to enjoy the game. That's my kind of quick takeaway there. So before we jump in, don't forget to follow me on Twitch. And if you are heading out and that's all you really wanted to know from this video, then please don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. All those things do help me out a huge amount. Let's jump in here too on how to make your OP build in Diablo 4. So jumping into our actual skill tree, here's where we really get to go to work here, right? And I do a lot of this building actually outside of the game on a builder website, which I'm going to show in just a little bit, but I want you to be able to see this from inside the game to start off. So if you didn't know how to get to this screen, by the way, just go ahead and press A, press this little expand button, and it's a much easier way to navigate all of your skills. And the big thing we're focusing on in this build in specific is blood. And blood has its own keyword. So I'm going to hover over this. You can see at the top there it says hemorrhage, a basic ability with blood. So I can go ahead and press blood and it's going to turn on a little highlight for all of my blood abilities. That way I kind of know, just from using that, how to kind of silo down all my abilities that are blood related. And what I've gone here is with a basic attack ability, hemorrhage, my primary damage ability. I've got a choice between Blood Lance or Blood Surge. I've gone with Blood Surge, and I'm going to explain why I did, because it's part of how you build a build and the synergies you're going to look for later in the game. We've dodged Blood Mist, but we're going to come back to that in a little bit. We've gone with Corpse Explosion, and then I've got some passives here. We've got Blood Wave as our ultimate, and then we have the key the capstone ability, or your key passive, which is Rathma's Vigor. And this is where we're going to start, because this is really where we're kind of building backwards in this build. But increase your max life by 10% after being healthy for 15 seconds. Your next blood skill overpowers. So what I want you to look at with this is overpowers. Overpowering deals bonus damage based on the sum of your current life and fortified life. And what you're looking for is this in all of your builds. You're looking for something that's going to be a connecting point. Say, for example, slowed. Okay, well, I'm making a storm druid. I'm going to look for slowed. Okay, so here we go. We've got this right here for overpowers. That's what I'm doing. Overpowering, again, deals bonus damage based on the sum of your current life and fortified life. So let's swap my keyword over to fortify. And we can keep blood, doesn't matter. But I'm going to go all the way up here. Well, my basic attack has the ability to fortify in and of itself, because I have Initiate's Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage now grants base life as Fortify and has a 1.5 chance per enemy hit to fortify you for 100% base life. So I'm building my Fortify. Remember, that's how Overpower works. My Blood Surge, it now fortifies me. That's absolutely huge. So what I'm doing here is trying to pull as many synergies into my base Rathmas as possible, because Rathmas is a blood ability, and that's an important thing because, or I'm sorry, Rathma triggers overpower on blood ability. So now that I've got those two sources of fortification, I can ramp up the amount of damage I get from overpower alone. Then I use Tides of Blood, which increases the amount of overpower damage I do. Cool, right? Well, I've also got another little ditty going here, another little trick up my sleeve. I'm using Memento Mori. This increases the amount of sacrifice bonus from my skeleton mages, because that's the important thing here, by 60%. Well, my skeletal mages, the sacrifice bonus for them is, oops, right here, that I get 40% additional overpower damage. So you see how I'm linking all these things together? I've focused on fortify abilities. I've focused on buffing the amount of overpower damage I get from my abilities, because that's what Rathmas does. And now it all comes together with this one ability right here. So Blood Wave now does a ton of damage because I'm guaranteed overpowering it using Rathmas. And since healthy is the trigger for that, well, let's look at that. I also have another passive here. While healthy, your blood skills deal 18% increased damage. So that Blood Wave ability now does nearly 20% more damage base just because I'm healthy. But I'm casting it overpowered, so it's getting the 15% increase from overpowered damage here. The whatever 4 times 6 is 24, so it's going to be 64% increased overpower damage for my skeletal mages because of Memento Mori. And then I get this little guy right here, which is going to help out by just instantly triggering an overpower on my Blood Wave, and it slows down my enemies as well as leaving behind some blood orbs. So that's just kind of a gist on how I've built this build out to make it an OP quote-unquote build, right? I've stacked certain things in a very specific way to really lend itself to being really powerful. And let's build another build out really quick, just to kind of show you how this works. Before I do that, though, I do actually really quickly want to show this off, right? Because although you're building the build with its abilities and skills, all these builders give you the ability to take a look at your other aspects. It's a huge portion of Diablo 4. So let's take a look at my ring here. Blood Wave fires 2 additional waves, each dealing 58% damage, 58% less damage than the previous. This just adds into the Blood Waves that I'm going to be casting, and now I have more Blood Waves coming out, because although Blood Wave will do 546 to 667 damage at base, it will overpower for a crap ton. And I don't care if it's doing reduced amounts per, because it's already overpowered out the gills. Look at my gloves. Blood Surge's Novas echo again after a short delay, dealing 70% less damage. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting aspects that are going to add additional flair to my build. I'm getting the aspect here that allows it so that when I'm spending 30 essence, which is a pretty high essence cost, I'm at least getting more damage out of this ability because it hits things multiple times. It deals damage initially, then it blows up with a Blood Nova, and now I get a secondary Blood Nova that blows up again. So there's a ton of damage output that can be done from these aspects, and I need you to really kind of look at these things, because hey, if I was doing a summon build, my summon build would be trash if I didn't get these things that increase my skeletal mages, or the ones that increases my skeletal warriors, because certain summon abilities need 7+ minions. All these little things that the build abilities are one thing, but really it's the aspects that can really click everything together. So I've transitioned us over here to d4builds.gg, my preferred build planner. And let's go ahead and choose, I don't know, it doesn't really matter here. I'll go with the Druid. Druid had pretty straightforward kind of skill tree to kind of make my point. So let's assume I've never looked at this tree. Spoiler alert, I have. And let me just choose one ability. Let's make an Earth Druid. Let's make Earth Spike. So Sunder the Earth, impaling the first enemy hit. Okay, well now this has a chance to stun. Cool, I've got that keyword down. Stun. What's my next one? Okay, summon a second Earth Spike when hitting an immobilized or stunned enemy. Well, you know what? I've got 2 instances of stun here. What's this other one? Fortify for 4% of your base life whenever Earth Spike damages enemies who are stunned or immobilized. So I get basically the chance to fortify or get more DPS. And it has a 10% chance to stun. Well, you know what? Let's go with this. Fortify seems kind of fun. And let's look at the other Earth ability. You know, in fact, we'll just turn on Earth as our keyword here, right? That's going to highlight all of these. And you would do this in game, of course. You'd see all these abilities a little bit more present for you. Okay, so landslide. This used to be very good. It did get a little bit of a nerf, but it's still quite good. So crush enemies between 2 pillars of earth, dealing 75%. Okay, after landslide damages an enemy, the next hit will immobilize. So, okay, so this gives me a guaranteed immobilize. I can start thinking now, I have a stun. I now have a guaranteed immobilize because this is a 10% chance to stun, right? And what's my next guy? Okay, when you immobilize or stun an enemy, you gain a Terra Mote. Each enemy hit by a landslide consumes a Terra Mote, causing a guaranteed crit strike with 40% increased crit damage. Boss is always allowed 10%. Yeah, got it, cool. But when you strike an immobilized or stun enemy with landslide, an additional pillar of earth is formed. So basically, I've got the same ability I have with Earth Spike. Let's go with this to increase our critical strike chance. And when you're leveling, that's not as huge. And another big thing, when you are making your builds, if you're coming from Diablo 2, it's very customary to go, okay, you know what? This is going to be a very big thing. Let me just put all my points into it. Don't do that. Put 2 points into it and wait and get the latter 2 points later, because the first 2 points give you the most damage per return on your investment. The latter 2 points have strong diminishing returns. So wait to get those once you've linked up with more passives or an additional ability that adds to the punching power of that ability. So don't feel like you need to dump all 5 points in right now. In fact, this is almost exactly how I would approach this build were I leveling it. So now we're going to choose a defensive. And as you guessed, Earth and Bulwark is where we're going to go. Blood Howl is also a really good one, but I like this the theme we're going with here, right? So this grants us a barrier. Earth and Bulwark makes you unstoppable. I like that. And now this will fortify me, or this will shoot damage out. You know what? Let's go with fortify, because I already know we get a fortify up here. So I'm stacking now. Stun, immobilize, and fortify. That's what you have to look at when you're making your own build. Find these overlapping keywords to bring them around in your build. If I was, say, doing this for lightning, everything in lightning has a chance to slow things down or a chance to stun things or push them back. Look at those kind of small little things as contextual tips on what to focus on. So we've got our Earth, we've got a companion now. We could jump into some other things here, some passives. To be fair, if I was really making this build 100% on a leveling basis, because I'm a Druid, I would get this as fast as possible so that I get better spirit generation. But that's neither here nor there. I'm trying to talk about other things, but still, that's important. And I'd probably get this one too. But let's go with Poison Creeper, because I'm going to be able to poison things. And look at this. Vine strangle all enemies, surrounding enemies, immobilizing them for 2 seconds and poisoning them. Well, we have so much stuff that synergizes right here, right? With immobilized or stunned. Immobilized, stunned, or knocked back. So let's kind of add to that. This gives us a guaranteed ability to activate and immobilize things. It's a 20-second cooldown, but still, we can do that. And also, they're going to be immobilized for longer now. And I can have a poison duration increase or crit strike chance increase. Well, let's go with that one. I kind of like how that crit strike chance increases. Spoiler alert, I'm already planning crit strike. Don't even worry about it. Now let's go into Boulder. So this is going to knock things back. When Boulder reaches the end of its path, enemies' hits are slowed. If the boulder is overpowered, enemies are stunned. Okay, well now I got even more chances to stun. When you have any fortify, Boulder has 20% increased crit strike. We already know that I get a guaranteed fortify now with Bulwark, and I get a fortify up here when things are stunned or immobilized. Well, damn, man, I'm popping off already with natural Boulder. I'd probably pick up some of these passives here where Earth skills now deal increased damage to slowed, stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. Well, I'm doing all those things. And crit strikes with Earth skills now fortify. Well, we do need that, don't we? And while you have fortify for over 50% of your max health, your Earth skills deal 12% more damage. Sign me up, coach. Put me in. All right, now we'll get petrify. Encase all enemies nearby in stone. Well, stunning them. You deal 25% increased crit damage to enemies affected by petrify. Petrify's duration is increased, and then you grant spirit. That's actually really sick. I'd probably grab something like this. This is really good. Nature magic skills, they heal you whenever they consume spirit, which is awesome. And you have these other portions here that can give you stuff like Earth skills deal increased damage to vulnerable enemies, and Storm skills have all this other fun stuff. But we're going to focus on this guy, Earth and Might. So, lucky hit. Damaging enemies with Earth skills has up to a 5% chance to restore all of your spirit, cause your attacks to be guaranteed crit strikes for 5 seconds. This chance is increased by 10% for crit strikes, 10% if the target is stunned or immobilized. So you can see here, we've really focused on a lot of good stuff. We still have 24 some odd skills. We're level 35, and we've unlocked a lot of synergy. So I'd probably put more into Landslide. I'd probably finish off Boulder here. Like I sound like Bob Ross right now. I can put a happy little tree over there. Poison enemies are slowed. Okay, we'll grab that. What's the other ones over here I wanted to get? We'll do this for more efficiency. So this way, this costs more spirit, but it does far more damage. It's going to cost like 8% more spirit. That's not even 3. It's not even 3 points of spirit. It's great. Crit strike chance increase. Okay, we'll do that because we're going to be probably pretty close here, right? Maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna wipe that one away. But you see here what we've done. And this applies to every single character you play in the game. Do not simply think that you have to follow a build guide online. You're just simply going to go, okay, well, I got a lot of stun. We got a lot of immobilize. Well, let's take a look at that. What stuns? Okay, well, these things all have stuff that key off of stun. Increased damage to distant enemies, double this bonus if they are also... Well, you know what? We're probably actually going to be pretty far away. So now I get 18% increased damage because I have guaranteed immobilization, stun, knockback, slow. I'm going to be just really popping off with that. Okay, let's have some fun there. Anything else that's really cool in here? This is actually pretty cool. Increase the amount of fortify you gain from all sources. Well, we're guaranteed chances of fortify around here, so let's have some fun with that. So if you've never built a build in any ARPG, you can see how it's actually very easy to do this in Diablo 4. And I might have gone a little fast in explaining this, but I think too much when we play these ARPGs, myself included. I'm very, very, very guilty of this. I mean, I've looked at Mr. Llama SC so much in every single one of his build guides, and they have like framed my entire D2 playthrough experience. But with D4, you have such a good build variety that allows you to play a lot of different little things in a lot of ways that you want. So please play the game how you want, and hopefully this video guides you loosely on how to approach it. I'll give you a link here to d4builds.gg. Go ahead and set up any class you want and just kind of go through this. It doesn't need to take you a long time. You can do this on the fly. You can do it in the game by using the keyword search function or by just simply typing it into this to really kind of make the synergies. And then after that, if you want to use this thing to kind of further build out, you go to gloves and let's type in, I don't know, Boulder. All right, Metamorphic Stone. Boulder is now a core skill and costs 60 spirit to cast, dealing 80 to 100% damage. Okay, well, what's other stuff we got? What's our other skills here? We've got, this one is Landslide. Let's type in Landslide. These are our offensive aspects. Okay, Landslide's Earth Pillars strike a second time. Or this one, Trample now summons 6 Landslide Pillars. So you've got all these different ways to modify and increase these and change these aspects even further and do even more damage. So once you have a loose footing of what skills you've got, click the respective slots of Glove, Weapon, Amulet, Ring, and Chest. It's kind of roughly all the locations. And type into the search bar which ability you're using. You know what? Let's type in Earth. All right, well, Mending Stone. The duration of Earth and Bulwark is increased by 6 seconds. In addition, killing an enemy with Earth skills replenishes X of your active Earth Bulwark's barrier. So you see how this is actually quite easy and very easy to approach in building on your own. So hopefully, again, this helped you out in making your own build in Diablo 4, playing the way that you want to play because you've spent $70 damn to do it. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here. If you have any questions or there's any builds that you're struggling to really get off the ground, let me know in the comment section below. Send me a link to what you've got, and I'll let you know my opinion on what I think you should do. All that kind of fun stuff, because there are just so many ways to approach this, and I hope you have the most fun jumping in Diablo 4, either already or come June 6th.